Meanwhile, President Trump announcing tariffs on Chinese imports today in response to what the administration calls aggressive trade practices.
The word that I want to use is reciprocal. When they charge 25% for a car to go in, and we charge 2% for their car to come into the United States, that's not good. That's how China rebuilt itself. The tremendous money that we've paid since the founding of the World Trade Organization, which has actually been a disaster for us. It's been very unfair to us.
Let's bring in Oklahoma Senator and member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Jim Inhofe, joins us now. Senator, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Nice to be with you, Sandra.
So the president making some news there, shedding light in his thoughts on a variety of issues. One of them, he did just weigh in again on trade after announcing those tariffs this afternoon. He said, "We are so far down, our past presidents should have never allowed this to happen. We're losing $375 billion a day to China," says the president.
Well, Sandra, I think that's exactly right, and I think he's addressing that. He's going after it. He's making it very clear that his actions are going to be against our enemies. If we're going to offend somebody, find somebody who doesn't like us. And obviously, you know, I just got back from the South China Seas. I saw firsthand what China is doing over there. They call it the reclaiming of land, but it's building huge artillery, huge runways, cannons, and all that, as if they're preparing for World War III. And so, yeah, I'm glad the president's going after him.
You know, here's a few of the things that you should know when you look at these tariffs on China. They're valued about $50 billion. There's 1,300 items targeted. The items do reflect high-tech China that has been targeted in the U.S. And the White House says for every $1 billion of trade deficit with China costs us 6,000 jobs. Why then, Senator, have we been watching markets react so negatively to this? Right now, the Dow is down 407 points. You can't say this is all because of that, but about midday, we saw the markets sell off to their lows of the session. Is there growing fear over perhaps some unintended consequences from these tariffs?
Well, I don't think so. And again, I don't judge my opinion and the authenticity of statements being made by what the market does. Sometimes it takes the market a while to react and to show that this is something that's going to inure to our country's benefit. Then on the other hand, you know, I'm really interested in what's happening right now with China in terms of our military, and then of course North Korea and what they're in the middle of doing. So I'm much more concerned about that, and I think the markets they're sometimes very slow to react. On the trade issue, let's wait and see what happens on it.
All right. And as far as North Korea, the president also just weighed in there, talking to that young crowd in Washington, saying, "I shouldn't be the one negotiating North Korea. This should have been done years ago." And when it comes to the president's handling of this and how it looks going forward, Quinnipiac just did some polls asking how confident you are in the president handling the North Korea situation. 46% say yes, they're confident. That's the highest rating in that poll's history. 51% say no. And as far as how will the U.S. resolve the situation with North Korea, 65% say through diplomacy. 16% believe it will take military force, Senator.
Look, Sandra, we're dealing with a terrorist. We're dealing with someone who's made these threats to the United States. And when he made the statement, I happened to be in the South China Seas when he made this statement, King Jong-un I'm talking about, that I've got a button I can push, I can blow up an American city. Now, instead of the response that we've been doing for the last 8 years, we have nothing but appeasement. We have a president now who came right back and said, yeah, you do that, we got a bigger button, ours works, yours doesn't, we'll blow you off the map. Now, what happened after that? A matter of hours after that, King Jong-un called South Korea and said, we've changed our mind, we're going to participate in the Winter Olympics. And then after that, he started having the gestures, let's get together and talk. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, he said that before. He said that to his father. The problem is, at that time, they didn't have the weapon that they demonstrated Senator, they had on November 28th.
I'd never like to cut off the senator. I have to do it. We're up against a hard break. We'll be right back. Senator, thank you.